Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll begin by acknowledging that we're in Treaty 1 territory in the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. My name is Ron Narrett. I'll be your chairperson this afternoon. Introducing the panel members, to my left is Mr. Bob Korosik, and to his left is Laurie Davidson, representing the City of Winnipeg from the Assessment Department is Candace Wright, and our recordings secretary is Carla Valshaw. We'll begin by hearing applications for the Board of Revision of Roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application and will limit discussions to those matters. The statements that the applicant and the assessor make at the hearing are sworn testimony, and anybody speaking in these matters must be sworn in. Please be advised that comparisons of assessments of other properties are not considered evidence of market value by the board. The Board of Revision is reported annually by City Council and is independent of it, along with the City Administration. We make our decisions based on the evidence provided at the hearing and issue a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decision in respect to application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or a Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, further information will be included in the board's order when you receive it. In respect to the hearing, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that you may have of the assessor, and then it will be your opportunity to present your evidence. And again, there will be questions on the panel's behalf and on the assessor also. Each party will have the opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all evidence about the application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket this afternoon. The session will close after all applications has been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live stream recorded and will be part of the public record. We'll ask our secretary to swear in the assessor, and then we will first deal with the property in question. So go ahead, Carol.
Will you swear in or affirm today?
I'll affirm.
Please state your name.
Candace Wright.
Do you affirm the evidence you present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to Lipton, so 924 Lipton. You may come forward and have a seat here and either affirm it or swear in the Bible.
I'll swear the Bible.
All right.
Yes.
Please state your name.
Mr. Sanderson?
Do you swear the evidence you present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, so help me God.
Thank you. Do you have anything to distribute to the panel this
Yes, I
afternoon?
do. Photographs I've taken, actually from this morning. There's numbers on the top left corner, which we can,
Are these
Coordinate with?
just one copy?
there's one copy for each one, yeah. They'll have to share them, pass them
Okay,
along.
I'll.
These are mine. I'll have to refer to these.
Okay.
I can't make copies for everybody. It's impossible.
Okay, well, I will require one for the file, and the assessor will need to walk out of here with one, so we'll need to take both of these copies today. That's okay by you?
Well,
You can use it for now?
yeah, sure, yeah.
Did you
There we
want to
go,
look these
we
over?
brought it through.
Yeah, that's okay?
So Carrie, another gentleman just came.
Yes.
Okay. All right, have you been here before, sir?
Very long time ago.
Okay.
Very
good.
long time ago.
Okay, so we'll first hear from the assessors, so they'll take, whenever you're ready, it's right, you can take us through Lipton, which is 924.
Okay, the subject property is roll number 1302-166-0000. The street address is 924 Lipton. This is a one-story house located in the Daniel McIntyre neighborhood. The year built and effective year built are 1945. The living area is 1,016 square feet. There is a full basement with no basement finish. is 1 full bathroom. There is no central air conditioning, 1 fireplace, and no garage. The lot size is 3,509 square feet, and it has a commercial adjacent land influence. The 2020 assessment is $173,000, which is $170.28 per square foot. I have 4 comparable properties that are all 1 stories in the Daniel McIntyre neighborhood. The year built and effective year built range from 1942 to 1952. The living area ranges from 700 square feet to 873 square feet. All properties have full basements with basement finish. The bathroom count ranges from 1 to 2. Comparable number 4 has central air conditioning and a fireplace. The other 3 comparables do not have air conditioning or a fireplace. Comparable number 1 has no garage. Comparables 2, 3, and 4 have detached single-car garages. The lot size ranges from 3,370 square feet to 3,758 square feet. Comparable number 1 has a medium traffic influence. It's on a bus route and it has a commercial adjacent influence. And comparable number 2 is on a bus route with medium traffic and on an internal corner. The sale price for these properties range from $165,000 to $247,500. The time adjusted sale price ranged from $171,800 to $248,500. And the time adjusted price per square foot ranges from $238.61 to $284.65. I did speak to the homeowner on August 9th. At that point, I updated the property characteristics. I did request to do an inspection of the property, and he said he was not able to schedule an inspection at that time.
And that's your presentation?
That is.
Thank you. Any questions of the assessor?
No, I think it's pretty well, summed up
Okay.
in what she wants to go and submit.
Okay. I'll
submission
just see
there.
if the panel members, Bob, do you have any questions in regards to what you just heard?
We're just wondering about the, if you knew what the adjacent commercial would be?
For the subject?
Yes, what's that?
It backs onto condos.
Okay, so it's on the back.
Yes.
And the condos would be deemed to be commercial?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any other questions at this
All right.
time.
Ms. Davidson?
I have a question on the comparables. You've brought forward 4 comparables, and I'm just noticing that, there's major streets kind of, bisecting them, like the comp 4 is down south of Sargent, and the subject is north of Wellington, etc. And I'm also noticing that the living area for the subject property is roughly 1,000 square feet, whereas the others are, 300-ish smaller. So, were there any comparables that were, closer in location, or sort of what one do you think is actually the most useful to us in looking at?
I can review. So part of the reason I chose the comparables I did is we are aware that there are issues with the property. We actually have the interior condition at fair.
Okay.
So I selected sales of properties that may have been more dated, that issues with the properties. And also, they are within the Daniel McIntyre neighborhood. I mean, there likely is difference depending where in the neighborhood, but I feel that they're relatively close together.
Okay. So you made the condition fair, so then are your comps fair condition too, in terms of the evaluation of them?
Not on our records, no.
So what condition would they be?
Average.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just one question, I guess, Ms. Wright. The one on Lipton, comparable sale number 4, sticks out like a sore thumb in regards to the sale price in January of 2018. It is $247,500. And what makes this comparable?
Well, I was limited to looking at one-story houses within the neighborhood. It's an area with different types of houses, different sizes of houses. So I did my best to find houses that were similar type size.
Otherwise, the range is pretty standard, but the subject is, say, 300 square feet more. So could you not find any comparables or,
I wasn't able to find any that were more similar in size or size.
All right. Mr. Anderson, the floor is yours, sir. And you've brought these pictures? And
I have indeed, yes, and top left-hand corner, there are numbers, we'll get to them in just a moment.
Okay.
I'd like to thank you all for working with me to try and get me scheduled in here. You'll understand I want to get out of here quite quickly, because I've been up
Everybody
since, no, not me especially, I've been up since 2 o'clock yesterday. I just finished the midnight shift,
Okay.
so you'll understand. Anyways, with that taken care of, the comparable number 3 there, I have, well, you might say, intimate experience with that particular residence. I grew up in that residence, so I spent pretty close to 30 years there. And it is a similar property, that being though, I don't have a garage that's worth like $30,000. That garage that's on that property is a full cedar garage that they don't even make them type anymore, and it's in excellent condition. So, and I know the new owner, so that house has had extensive work done to it, and I can see where it would be listed at $183,000. I will refer now to my photographs here. I'm not sure where we're going to start here. On the top, there's number 8. If you could pass them down, if you could. That's the side of my house. The overhang on the roof there, both bottoms of the end there are visibly rotten. You can see daylight through there. That brings the property down some. About 6-7 years ago, I had a leak in my roof. That's the corner of my dining room now. That's going to cost a lot of money. Picture number 6 here. This is a picture of my front door hanging on one hinge. I was asleep at 1 o'clock in the afternoon about 7-8 years ago. I had somebody kick in my front door. It's never been fixed. If you look closer to the door handle, there's a 2x6 there. That's my deadbolt. So that door needs to be replaced. Picture number 5. That's a picture of the corner of my living room, the southwestern corner. That's going to cost thousands.
Mr. Anderson.
I'm sorry for going
Mr.
a little
Anderson.
fast here.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
we can look at these pictures and I think they're self-explanatory, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I've not had a chance to go and do much to my house
Yeah.
because of,
So
cost of things.
So you're here this afternoon,
To go and try and
what
get a
value,
reflection of
what value are you seeking? What do you
between
think the value is?
140 and 150. I leave that in the ballpark for
150 to
professionals.
140?
140 to 150.
And the reason being?
To more, to reflect what it would, get selling. Like, I mean, people are gonna look at it. I have a new water tank, which is 10 years old. The roof is before I bought the house in 1998. I've had new doors and windows put in. The city's aware of that. That was done, I guess, about 10 years ago or so. 100 amp service, that is it. That's all I've ever spent on that house. That's all I've been able to afford. I'm by myself. I raised my 2 daughters in that house, so, it's a tough road. I've wanted to go and come here before you before, and you'll forgive me, times have been very tough. And that $53 cost, although it may not mean much to some people, and I think it means a lot to us, no doubt, that's an obstacle. It is hard. I've appeared before the Board of Revision once, many years ago, and I stated my case, and, it was reflected in what it was assessed at. And right now, it's years later, I'm asking for you to go and...
Mr. Anderson, are you living in this house right now?
I am indeed, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's the only place I got to.
Okay. And Ms. Wright, questions of the applicant?
No, I don't have
No. We got a new backlane, a couple of years ago. I'm happy about that, that's fine, but you know what? This morning, and ever since they've had that backlane, I'm driving through that much water this morning. It's unbelievable. I mean, I drive a truck, right? But these poor people are driving little four-door subcompacts or something, they're gonna get, it's unbelievable. There's like about 150 feet of back lanes submerged.
Laurie, any questions?
Just a quick question. You showed us pictures with damage and issues. Have you gotten
Right.
any quotes to repair that? Or a
You
sense
know,
of how much it might cost?
I have no money.
No,
I
but
have
do you have a
nothing at all,
sense of
hardly.
how much it might cost to repair?
Well,
In the ballpark?
I've done renovations myself before and that, and, you know, being realistic about it in a ballpark, I don't think I'm out of, you know, my league in saying it's only worth, what, 140, 150? I'd like to invest the money to bring it up to what, you know, you suggested it be assessed at 173, but I don't have that kind of money, so it's tough. No, I have not. I maybe should have, but it's, again, it cost me. I work shift work, and it's very hard as a single person. I mean, that's my property. I live there by myself. I take care of it. I maintain it. I do the best I can.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
You are living in this house, though?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And do you plan to do some renovations and, you know, based on, you know, maybe?
I would, sir, I would really love to do the renovations, but again, I'll show you my bank account if you'll show me yours, and I'm quite sure it'll
Probably be the same.
But it's, no, one day, and if I do, I'll take out a permit and it'll reflect on the value of the house.
Ms. Wright, do you wish summation at all?
Just in summation, we do have the condition of the house at fair at this point. The sale prices are fairly similar to the subject property, but as we've gone over, the subject property is about 300 square feet bigger. So I believe that it does account for some of the issues that are in the house.
Okay, I thank you. Mr. Anderson, final word?
Well, I should have done this, like I said, 6-7 years ago. I put it off till now, so I'm hoping that my one appearance here will correct things.
All right, I thank you for your appearance this afternoon and results very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
And have a good sleep.
I'm gonna hit the sack, trust me. Thank you very much, Al.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll go to number 26 Essers Avenue. Essers. You come forward and get sworn in. That is number 12.
Will you swear on the Bible or if you're without? Please state your name. Do you have any evidence to present today is the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
12, yeah.
Do you have anything to distribute to the
I
panel?
thought you said 26.
No.
26, Sorry.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir, and we will first hear from the assessor. So whenever you're ready, you can take us through this property.
Thank you. The subject property is roll number 0802-126-4200. The street address is 26 Essex Avenue. This is a bi-level house located in the Glenwood neighborhood. The year built and effective year built are 2012. The living area is 910 square feet. There is a full basement with basement finish, one full bathroom, central air conditioning. There is no fireplace and no garage. The lot size is 2,564 square feet. The 2020 assessment is $297,000, which works out to $326.37 per square foot. I have 4 comparable properties that are all bi-levels located in the Glenwood neighborhood. The year built and effective year built range from 2013 to 2017. The living area ranges from 858 square feet to 911 square feet. All comparables have full basements with basement finish. The bathroom count ranges from 2 to 3. Comparable number 4 has central air conditioning at the time of sale. The other 3 comparables did not. There are no fireplaces in any of the comparable properties. Comparables number 1 to 3 have no garage, and comparable number 4 is a detached multi-car garage. The lot size ranges from 2,547 square feet to 2,562 square feet. And comparable number 3 has a light traffic and external corner influence. The sale price for these properties range from $280,911 to $312,000. The time-adjusted sale prices range from $295,200 to $316,100. And the time-adjusted sale price per square foot ranged from $324.04 to $353.18. The homeowners did attend the preview program for the 2020 assessment, and staff from the assessment department went out and did an inspection. The initial 2020 assessment was $309,000, and as a result of the inspection, the characteristics on record were updated, and that was when the assessment was revised to $297,000.
I thank you. Do you have any questions of what you just heard from the assessment department?
I had a question, but it went away for some reason.
Well,
It was in my mind, but then, you know, I
Okay.
was listening to her.
maybe we'll come back to you. Okay.
That would be great.
Okay. Laurie, do you have any questions?
I have no questions at this time,
Bob?
thanks.
I don't have any questions either.
Are these infill houses?
They are, yes.
Okay. So, you had a meeting, a community meeting with the individuals?
It wasn't me personally, but
Yeah.
someone from the
Okay.
assessment
And
department.
I wrote down the figure 309, so what happened? It was higher and they
Yeah.
reduced it down?
So the proposed 2020 assessment was 309,000.
Yeah.
And then they came in to review that assessment, and someone went out and did an inspection at the house. And they adjusted the amount of basement finish, and I believe updated the bathroom count. So we had some incorrect characteristics, and when those were corrected, it was revised to 200.
So it wasn't you that went out or anything like that, and the 2020 assessment is 297,
No,
right?
it is, yes.
So it's even down, $12,000.
Yeah, it decreased from 309 to 297, so $12,000 decrease as a result of the inspection.
Okay. So the floor is yours, sir. Maybe did the question come back to you at
Yes,
all?
yes,
Okay.
it did. Just to add to the inspection that the individual came to the home and all that, it was counted as 2 full bath, I believe, and the actual configuration, there's only 1 bathroom, and they had to do, visual inspection on that to confirm that it's true. Now, the question came back was to the assessors that how many rooms of the homes for your comparisons have?
Well, they're all comparable in size, and they're all bi-levels. So, I don't think you can decipher that, because
Okay.
they're all the same,
Right.
okay?
The other incorrect information that I pulled from the assessment website there is, it listed the 26 Essex, the number of rooms, it says 5.
Yeah, but, you can say what you want about the room count, but the square footage is what you're basically after. I'm not sure how they determine, whether it be a 4-room, 5-room, but you're talking about the same square footage.
That's the main
Yeah,
count.
I think that would be
Yes.
correct.
Yeah,
Right?
the square
Okay.
footage is what
Square
determines the
footage.
value.
So we're ready for your presentation, sir.
I did my comparisons.
Well,
based-
you looked at all the assessments of other, okay, and that's sort of a starting point, okay?
Yes,
So I think you did a good job,
I did what I could, you know.
but the only problem is that you can't really compare assessments, it's a starting point, but in essence, what you're after is the market value of these houses, so whether they sold. So it's a starting point for you to, you know, say, well, my assessment's out of whack because of the, but you don't know whether these other properties are under appeal or are being appealed.
Right.
So, so in essence, what do you think your value should be for your property for the reference year, which is April 1st, 2018?
The homeowner is not my house. I'm representing my friend.
Okay, that's fine.
So
You're authorized, I would
Yes.
imagine, yes, you are?
yes.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here?
The home was built by Habitat for
Yeah.
Humanity,
Yeah,
and they have how do I say?
you do lots of houses. You
Yes.
do, yeah.
The main thing here is that when I sat down with the homeowner and looked at the assessed value, it's about how much is the neighbor's house? The neighbor's house is about 309. That was built the same. I did not include that into the
Okay,
package there. It was built the same. It's pretty much the same house. However, the neighbor's house has 5 rooms. The 26 SX that we're talking about here has 3 rooms. I'm not sure how 5 rooms got into the system there. So
yeah, I can see that on the Humboldt Street there, it's classed as 5 rooms. But it's still 900 square feet.
right.
Okay. And all your comparables do state 5 room, eh? But they're very similar in regards to square footage,
Yes, sir.
so. Anyways, what do you think the value should be?
I'm thinking it's just because the habitat rules applies to the homeowner. You know, they have some restriction. There's rules where you can't sell the home for a certain time period and all that. I'm not sure what the fine prints are. To my honest opinion, I would say, if I have to, you know, say a number, I would
Yep.
say 270 would be
270?
would be a good number,
Okay.
based on you know the limited income that the homeowner has coming in, and you know if we go like 297, I mean we're talking about, I did a rough calculation, we're talking about $400 a year increase on municipal taxes and school taxes there. There's, if if it goes up to that, I mean, you know, there's gonna be less for kids and, you know, for their education savings and all that stuff.
So you figure about 270. And when did your friends buy the house? Is it 2013?
2013,
13? And they paid,
certain percentage of the income
Yeah.
to.
but they
to have
paid
that.
they paid at the time 251,750.
Yes,
Okay.
that was the, how much it cost to build a home.
So you're representing your friends,
Yes.
and do you live in a neighborhood?
I live in the West End.
Okay. So has the value of the street gone up at all, or has it stayed the same? Your like your friend's place?
Right.
Okay. Has the neighborhood improved or stayed the same, or?
I'd like to add, the street parking, when it's game day, there's almost zero parking. Because, the influence of the location is that there's, a bar, I believe, down the street at the stop sign, which is 5 or 6 homes away from the subject property. And, you know, when it's game day, the parking lot is full, the street is full. If my friend were to have, you know, family gathering or something, they would have to go find parking somewhere else. I mean, a lot of my friends, they have like young kids and that, you know, walking them to the home would be somewhat a challenge.
All right. Ms. Wright, do you have any questions of the applicant?
No, I don't have any questions.
Laurie, any questions?
Just a quick question. Since the subject property was sold, bought in 2013, what is the general increase in this market area over time? Like, do you have those stats?
I have between, as for the assessment increase from the 2018 to the 2020, in Market Region 9, which is a fairly big area, was 5.79%.
Sorry, between what years was that?
Between the 2018 assessment.
Oh, okay.
and the 2020 assessment.
So like from 2014 to 2018?
Yeah, so here's
Yeah,
a
it's yours.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bob, any questions?
I just wanted to get clarification on I believe you said this home on Essex is three rooms?
3 rooms, sir.
Is that 3 bedrooms?
Three bedrooms.
Okay, so when it's a 5-bedroom, or where it has 5 rooms in the information you provided, that would be kitchen, living room, and 3 bedrooms? Like the
Yes.
5, yeah, so this would be equivalent to a 5-room house? 3 bedrooms, kitchen, plus a kitchen and living room, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to get that. Now, the other clarification I'm looking for also on that 251,750, just to clarify, Habitat-built house, and it's bought for the cost of the construction, is that right? That's what it costs, it's not like a developer looking to make an additional amount, so this is basically a cost of construction as compared to other sales prices, which would be like market value prices.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I think I've got my information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Submission, if you're right, Ms. Wright?
I feel that based on the comparable properties that I have, which were by levels of similar size, infill properties in the same neighborhood, I feel the 2020 assessment of $297,000 is supported.
I thank you. Anything further to add to your case? No? All right, leave it with us. Thank you for your appearance this afternoon, and results very soon. Thank you. We'll go to 101 Paul Avenue. That's number 18. Okay. Oh, okay, okay.
you swear in, Ms. Assessor? Please state your name.
Mark Elliot.
Do you swear the evidence you present today is the
I
truth,
never
the
know.
whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have anything to distribute to the panel? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Mr. Elliot, good afternoon.
Thank you.
This is a little unusual property, I guess, Mr. Elliot. You've picked off, I guess, two points to be addressed. One is quantum, which is value, and the other one, I think, maybe is classification. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Are you unaware of this, or?
No, I was aware of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, okay, I can't remember. Do we deal with classification first?
I think we deal with,
Quantum?
well, I think we need to figure out if classification needs to be
Okay,
as a part of this application.
okay. You've ticked off classification. Are you questioning the classification?
No.
No.
Mr. Elliot did that on my advice.
Okay,
Um,
okay. So we'll get you to withdraw that after. So then we'll do quantum, which is value. Okay.
And then, just so you're clear,
Okay.
he's wanting the farm value to go up.
Yes.
Residential, yeah.
Okay. 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 Ms. Wright, you can take us through this property. The regards to classification, he drew that, okay? So we're just gonna deal with quantum, okay? But it is going to be split between farm and residential. So you can take us through the property.
Sure, thank you. The subject property is roll number 0800690700. Street address is 101 Paul Boulevard. This property is a split between farm and residential land. The total assessment for 2020 is $355,000. The residential portion is on approximately 1 acre, and the assessment for residential is $232,000. And then the farm portion of the property is approximately 4 acres, and the assessed value for the farm portion is $123,000. So I've prepared briefs separate for the residential and the farm, so I'll go through those now. I'll start with the residential brief. So this is a one-story house located in the St. Vital Perimeter South neighborhood. The year built and effective year built are 1967. The living area is 968 square feet. There is a full basement with no basement finish. There is one full bathroom. There is no central air conditioning and no fireplace. There is a detached multi-car garage. Now the lot size is approximately 1 acre for the residential portion. And there is a commercial influence, and there is no sewer or water service at this property. I have 4 comparable residential properties that are all 1 stories located in St. Vital Perimeter South. The year built ranges from 1946 to 1977. The effective year built ranges from 1966 to 1987. All properties have full basements with basement finish. The bathroom count ranges from 1 to 2. All have central air conditioning and none have fireplaces. All have detached multi-car garages, and the lot sizes range from 181,452 square feet to 218,397 square feet, and all have no sewer and no water. The sale price of these properties range from $420,000 to $485,000. The time-adjusted sale prices range from $427,100 to $486,000, and the time-adjusted price per square foot range from $377.33 to $439.30. So for the residential portion, the 2020 assessment is $232,000, which is $239.67 per square foot. And now I will go over vacant land comparables for the farm portion of the property. These are all vacant lots in St. Vital perimeter south that are zoned RR5. The size range from 4.99 to 5.94 acres, all have no sewer and no water. The sale prices range from 230,000 to 270,000. Time adjusted sale prices range from 236,900 to 277,000. And the time adjusted sale price per acre ranged from $42,893.57 to $55,417.74. The 2020 assessment for the farm portion of the subject property is $123,000, which works out to $30,750 per acre.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. Mr. Elliot, questions of the assessor?
I've been at that assessment quite often, so I'm gonna ask if my place has been flagged or it has a red light on the computer of the assessment department.
No, there's no.
Okay. Like started living at my place in 1983, and I can go back to 1993 where I have been hitting the board of revisions and the municipal board since then. So I'm just wondering why I am here so often.
Well, it's probably to get it correct.
I know that the assessment department has problems with large lot and their classification of that. Our area is of that nature, and has that been fixed, or have you changed any plans on large lots?
Well, what we look at is sales, so if you're looking at the farming portion, we would look at sales of vacant properties with similar zoning. So that's what I prepared here on the vacant land brief, was sales of properties that are around 5 acres that were vacant. They had the RR5 zoning, and they're located in St. Vital perimeter south.
Because we are a parish, the city of Winnipeg will not, in the laws, allow us to subdivide. This is our property. Is the assessment department still using their calculations of 66% residential and farmland 33% to determine the total value of the property?
We look at the portion of the land that is used for farming and then the portion that is residential when we decide on our values.
Because the total value has been now divided into two. And the last that I had information was the residential would be 66%, farmland 33%
Of the total assessment?
of the total assessment.
Well, right now the farm portion is 123,000 and the total is 355. So that's about 35% for the farm
Yep.
portion, yeah.
About a third.
Yes. I did a comparison of my neighbor at the end of the road, using the same same calculations. His farmland is 16% and his residential is 88%. So to me, the calculations still are imbalanced throughout the whole large lot situation.
Well, I think, Mr. Elliott, you're getting into your evidence.
Okay, sorry.
So so do you have any more questions in regards to what you just heard from the assessment department?
No.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Davidson?
I have a few questions just to try and sort this out in my mind. So this is the same property and it's been split between farm and res, right?
Yeah, so we have a split classification.
So the farm portion that's on the second piece of your submission, you said it was roughly 35% of the total value. It's based on the amount that's under farming though, isn't it? Like, is this actively being farmed now to get the farm classification?
I believe so.
Like, it's not just vacant land. It's a question, so.
Yeah. So we would consider highest and best
Right.
use of the property,
Yeah.
which is zone 5.
So this is classified as farm though?
Yes, we have
Okay.
it classified as farm.
Okay, so then, and is that under dispute, the amount of land being classified as farm? Or is it the value?
I believe it's the value that's under dispute.
Okay. And then on the residential piece, it is a challenge to find comparables on these large lots.
Yes.
But I notice, they match in terms of no sewer, no water, but, the lot of the subject property is significantly bigger than the lot, or smaller, I meant, than the lots of the comps. And the house is I guess, older. Like, I know you don't do land and res separately exactly, but does that mean most of the value is in the land, not in the residence? Or mostly in the res, not the land versus the others? Because there's not much land compared to the others?
Yeah, the total lot is
Mhm.
similar to the comparables. The total lot is 217,739 square feet.
So you're going on the
Just
total.
for clarity,
Right.
I basically prepared two completely separate briefs.
Right, because you've assigned 43,000 square feet to the
Approximately an
residential.
acre to
Yeah,
the residential
yeah.
portion, yes.
But the others okay, so then does that mean comp 1 to 4, they're farm res 2, but you haven't split out the farm portion?
I don't believe they're being used for farming, I'm not 100% sure.
But then doesn't it mean then, if there's no farm component in the comps, that the land is much greater in the other comparables
Yes,
for res property?
yeah.
So then, are they comparable because the land size is hugely different and there has to be more value in the land on the comparables than in the dwelling?
And that is an issue in
That's
this
a question.
area especially,
Yeah.
Because when you look at the overall lot size, they're all actually fairly similar. So it is an issue with a case like this where you're splitting it apart into residential and farm. I feel that when you look at the sale prices compared to the assessment of the subject, it is considerably lower, which would account for some of that difference.
In the land?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see the challenge actually of assessing these. And did this property come to your preview process?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie. Bob?
The entire parcel is 5 acres in size, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so, and 1 acre, you've assigned 1 acre, and is there agreement that the residential portion of it should use up, would take up 1 acre? Is there concurrence on that? Like you've assigned an acre for the residential portion of land for the assessed lot size.
Yeah.
So is there, as far as agreement that that's an appropriate amount for, I'm looking at the air photo.
Mhm.
I have no way of telling, but, a fifth of it could be.
Yeah, and we do use aerial photos to measure the areas.
Yeah.
I know because the property owner does have a history with the department, there have been discussions in the past on how much of the lot is used for farming.
Okay, now it has no sewer and water, is that right?
Yes.
So that the 1 acre, I'm not sure if this is a question, so you would have either holding tank or a septic field, and is 1 acre adequate to accommodate that? Or should the residential portion be a little larger for a septic field?
I'm
What do you know?
honestly not too sure of the regulation.
Okay, because that becomes, in the sort of heavy clay area, becomes a question, and I'll ask. So basically, we're talking about 1 acre residential and 4 acre agriculture.
Yeah, for the purposes
For the
of this,
assessment.
basically to be able to explain the two values that are
Right.
apportioned to residential and
Yeah,
farming.
So you've got and so the residential portion, when you assess it, normally assess it, and there is no residential land, it's a parcel, it's a residential parcel of land with a house on it.
Yes, yeah.
But when you deal with the agriculture, you look at it in terms of its specific agricultural
Yeah,
assessed value.
in that case, we would look for vacant sales with no improvements on the
Right.
property.
Okay. I think I've got the questions I have right now. Covered, thanks.
So, Ms. Wright, you've tried to make it easy for us
I
in
tried
regards
to,
to
seriously, everything.
separating the 5 acre in total.
Yes.
Is the 4 acres across the street? Or where exactly is it? Like, I can see your map here and,
Yeah. Yeah, it is, that entire parcel is the entire 5 acres. And the area with the house on one end is
Oh,
the
I
residential.
gotcha. Here.
No, it's one
Okay.
complete parcel,
Okay.
and that's, I assume that's
Okay.
the property, that
Okay.
residential.
Okay. So, so when we add up the figures, it comes to 356,000 for value.
So it's 355,000, yeah.
355?
Is the total
Sorry.
assessment, yes.
Okay. So your comparables are all around the 420 to 485.
Yes.
Mr. Elliot, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay. The program there, what you were mentioning today, was a little different than what I've been used to, where we generally received these comparables at least a week before that we had them to compare with, so that my examples will not be using this. I had to go and use other in our community, so.
That's fine, they don't have to match,
Okay,
you know, for the cities, you have different figures, so that's fine,
okay.
yeah.
That just caught me off guard when you mentioned that at the beginning.
No, you're entitled to present anything you like.
Okay, the appeal of this today is for the 2020 property assessment, and I have concerns about the residential portion of the property, as I assumed it's on a hold situation, as I have to do some repairs of the house, and the city bylaw department has stopped me from living in there at this time. So I'm going with the idea that the residential plus my farmland is the total. And if my home land or my residential land is constant, it hasn't changed for the past 3 years, that should increase my farmland value. Because the assessment says this property is worth this much. If A can't be moved, it all goes into the farmland value. And that is what I'm asking for the total value. Once again, I'll mention this with comparing my neighbor, which is at the end of my pasture, where they have, it's 191 Paul Boulevard. The farmland value is 16% of the total value. Showing that, once again, the large property hasn't been really fixed since when I bought it in 1983. And that's why I've been in front of the Board of Revisions and the Municipal Board so often. And we're trying to find a way to get large lots organized. On page 3, I showed where, when I bought the property, where my acreage was $8,000 an acre. It has increased, but after 38 years, I don't think my investment has been fulfilled by the city, allowing me to increase my farmland, which is in the city limits. And looking at Toronto's reports, any land within their property or farmland has increased at a higher rate. I know that 775 Frazer Road is an open 5-acre lot. It was just sold. I couldn't find it on the computer of the assessment department pages. I was wondering if the assessor could see the value of that.
We're just doing your presentation
Yes.
first,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Then it'll be part of your summation,
Okay.
okay?
I've also enclosed the last copy of what the bylaws has held back.
So what happened there, Mr. Elliot?
I had,
Is this vacant building inspection invoice?
yes,
Okay. And that was April the 4th of this year?
that is a copy of, I put
Okay.
18 and I believe it's 17.
Okay.
And I plan to be fixing it and like taking everything out and living in there, hopefully by Christmas. That's my plans.
So did they fine you
Yes,
and you paid the fine?
yes.
Didn't appeal it?
I tried. The judge. On page 5, I kind of commented that 101 Paul's Boulevard doesn't have water, no sewage. We have a gravel road with major ditches. I pulled out a few people that have flipped their cars. And we have country road service only. And just there that we don't have cable because our population is so small. And that's it.
Mr. Elliott, I don't see anything in here where you tell us exactly what you want in regards to value.
Okay, I laid the value of 3 years back where my house was, and that difference to go to my farmland. Because I wasn't, because of the city bylaws. Farmland. And I realized I acted slow on that situation, but money is a factor. I am a farmer. Yes, that land, I have some fenced, some is open pasture, I raise goats.
And that's your presentation, Mr. Elliott?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Wright, questions of the applicant?
So do you agree with the total assessment of $355,000 and it's the portion of each?
Yes.
So you disagree with, okay. And what portion do you feel that it should be?
Going back to the record of my residence 3 years ago, to be that constant, I'm sorry, I couldn't find that for comparing.
Ms. Wright, are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Laurie, any questions?
I think I'm clear based on what the assessor asked. So really, you're talking about a change in classification, moving a portion of the res assessment into the farm class, but keeping the overall assessment the same?
No
No.
change in classification.
Right.
They stay the same, just
Moving it
value.
into the farm?
Yes, sir.
But that
Yes,
would,
Moving the portions,
but that's a change
And
in
the amount.
classification.
he's withdrawn classification.
He hasn't yet, he hasn't signed the
But
paper.
that's what he's
Yeah.
asking.
I think it would be the same classification, just a different portion of value.
Yeah, but it's moving into the farm class, is it not? Which has a different portion value?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so is that, yeah, that,
That's a
Okay.
change in classification.
yes.
He's thinking about withdrawing classification.
No, but how do you, then you can't really change the amount of land in the residential or the agricultural by moving the line, you're actually reclassifying a
Right.
portion of it.
Mhm.
Right,
So
that's
it,
what
so it
you're
is a
asking.
classification,
Mhm.
not a value.
Okay.
Right.
There's no issue with the total value, is that correct?
But I'm not changing the acreage.
No, you're
Right.
changing the acreage on the farm portion, right?
No,
You're-
that still remains 4 acres,
Right,
just that the value increases.
But the value's increasing because you're taking land from the res portion,
No, mine,
then how is
Not
the
clear.
assessment increasing?
if the 355 stays the same, and,
so,
if the 355 stays the same, we have 232 residential and 123 agricultural or farm.
Right.
So you want you're saying 355 is fine, so what should the residential value? And that value is derived by assigning, for having 1 acre of land with the residential property. The residential portion, the 232,000 is based on 1 acre of land for the residents.
yes, sir.
That's good? And the 123,000 of the farmland is based on 4 acres of land to give you a total of 5 acres for the whole.
Okay.
So what is the change that we're looking for?
That the value of the residential decreases because it,
To what figure?
to 3 years ago price.
Because you feel it's over-assessed? Like the amount of the land under the residential
Or
as it
just-
is fine? You just feel the value of the house and the residential
this
land
time,
is too
yeah.
high?
Yes,
Based on,
with the bylaws that department that came,
So,
Yeah.
so the residential goes down,
yes,
right?
yes.
Is what you're suggesting. The agricultural 4 acres would go up.
Right.
based,
Based on
Just,
the assessment says this whole package is worth,
so the farm portion would be worth 170,000 or 150,000, and it would be offset by a reduction on that residential 1 acre would go down to 200 or something.
correct.
but that's still a classification change because you're moving into farm.
No, you're not, you're just changing the values of each piece.
So
Yeah.
he feels
You
the
would still
farm
keep-
value is worth more then.
Yeah, that's what it would be tantamount to saying the residential value, the property on that portion that has been assessed as residential is worth not less, and the farm portion,
But you would be asking for an increase in the assessment on your farm section.
Seeking to increase.
right, and that's what he's
But we
doing.
just want to
He wants to
confirm.
see this portion here, this part of his assessment go up, and he wants to see this go down, so they still total
The same.
355.
Yes.
That means
So
you're,
it's not a classification
okay,
change.
but
Okay.
that means you're
Value.
saying then that you feel your farm is assessed, the farm portion should be assessed higher. That is, the market value is higher than it's assigned right now on the farm portion.
Yes. From the total.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that.
okay.
And
Okay.
compared to your
Thank you.
comparables and the city's comparables, you feel the value of the farmland is greater than they've put on the roll right now. Okay, I got it.
So,
Thank you.
so then the question is,
Right.
how much, and I guess, if I find, so it's how much do you shift the value,
Correct.
the assessed value? And then the next question is, from assessment point of view, are those shifted values acceptable?
Right.
Would it be acceptable from the assessor's point of view to, let's say, I'm being arbitrary here, reduce the that residential piece to a $200,000 value, would that be a fair assessment on that property? And then would that, the remaining 4 acres, that is a farm assessment, go up to 150 or whatever that number, would that be an acceptable value to you as an assessor? I mean, it's not just juggling, I
Well,
think it has to be still right.
They've concluded value,
Total,
yeah,
but
But
it's still split in
yes.
different ways.
Right.
So
Yes.
the question
And
is
that
that
matters.
acceptable?
Yeah,
Okay.
based on the 2 comparables, because you presented a fairly easy to understand split in the property between the res and the farm. And as Bob's saying, now we're looking at an increase in the farm assessment and a decrease in the res, and you've got these comparables. So does that work from your comparables and your expertise as assessor?
Is the value expert, is this the right guy? I think that's, in my view, that's the fundamental
Right, yeah.
question, and I think it's, if you would accept the numbers that are acceptable to the applicant,
But it's not just the total,
no,
because the farm.
but
the
he's
res
saying the
are-
total,
yeah.
he's fine with the total,
Yeah.
so we can,
That's
you know,
where they are,
yeah, so it's up to the assessor, I think. Or I don't wanna make an arbitrary, because that was, nobody's argued these
Right.
values in that way.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we would just have to base it on our sales evidence if it was supported by sales. Which, I mean, we can see the sales of vacant R5 zone lots. I mean, the sale prices for around 5 acres range from about 230 to 270.
And those are total without splitting out the breakdown, right?
Yeah, those are vacant lots.
Oh, they're
Same-
vacant lots.
Same, vacant lots with the same zoning as the subject property.
Oh, I see, on the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so the vacant lots, sworn values are higher than the 220, or than the 123,000, right?
Yes.
So you
Mhm.
can, you would then be able to accept an increase in
Well, that's your
the 4 acres, or not?
I would say that's your decision.
Well, the total assessment per lot was
123,
yeah, it was 30,750
Yeah.
per
Per
acre.
acre.
yeah.
And these are at 46, 54, and
Yeah.
42, the comparable, so this is low.
This is gonna be part of our
Right.
deliberation,
But
okay?
do you concur then that classification can be withdrawn? Okay.
Yeah, I don't, it's not a classification.
Yeah.
Just value.
Okay.
So I think we understand the issue.
Summation on either party?
I think we've gone over everything that I brought up.
Could I just ask one question?
Certainly.
Just quickly. Building on what Bob had asked, your assessment information for the farm component of this is $30 or 30.75 per acre, and the other ones are higher. What was your rationale in having a higher per acre value, time adjusted on your comps versus your subject?
Those were the comparables that I found that were most similar in size. There are a lot of vacant land sales in that area that are much larger. So I stuck to the most similar in size to the subject property that I could, and those were the sale prices of those properties.
Because the value per acre is, time adjusted, is lower than on your comparables. And that would be taken into account by what? Just,
I'm honestly not too sure.
okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you for your appearance this afternoon, and results very soon. We'll get you the sign off in regards to liability.
Sorry about it.
Not right now.
The next property is 350 Forbes Road. You gonna both come forward or just one? Whatever, if you're gonna speak, we'll get you sworn in. Number 19.
Will you swear on the Bible or swear without? Please state your name. Do you swear the evidence you present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You will be sworn in as well. Please state your name.
Joan Hardy?
Do you swear the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Do you have any place to distribute to That's great.
All right, so we'll first hear from the assessor in regards to their evaluation. Ms. Wright, whenever you're ready, you can take us through this property.
Thank you. The subject property is roll number 0800694650, 350 Forbes Road. This is a 1.5-story house located in the St. Vital Perimeter South neighborhood. The year built is 1944 and the effective year built is 1954. The living area is 938 square feet. There's a full part area basement with no basement finish. There is one full bathroom. There is no central air conditioning or fireplace, and there is a detached multiple car garage. The lot size is 165,790 square feet. There is no water or sewer, and there is a school influence on the property. The 2020 assessment is $362,000, which works out to a total assessment per square foot of $385.93. I have 4 comparable properties that are located in the St. Vital Perimeter South neighborhood. Comparables number 1 and 2 are 1-story, and comparables 3 and 4 are 1.5-story houses. The year built ranges from 1946 to 1975, and the effective year built ranges from 1966 to 1975. The living area ranges from 995 square feet to 1,968 square feet. All properties have full basements with basement finish. The bathroom count ranges from 1 to 2. Comparables 1, 2, and 4 have central air conditioning, and comparable number 3 does not. Comparables 3 and 4 have fireplaces. Comparables 1 and 2 have detached multi-car garages. Comparables 3 and 4 have attached and detached multi-car garages. Comparable number 4 has an in-ground pool. The lot size ranges from 96,610 square feet to 217,762 square feet. All comparable properties have no sewer and no water, and comparable number 4 has a medium traffic influence. The sale price of these properties ranges from $420,000 to $485,000. The time adjusted sale price ranges from $427,100 to $491,300. And the time adjusted price per square foot ranges from $249.64 to $439.30. I did speak to the property owner on August 26th, and he indicated that he purchased the property from family in 2017 through a private sale. And since then, there has been work done on replacing the drywall, flooring, kitchen, and bathroom, and there are a couple rooms remaining that need to be renovated.
Thank you. Questions of the assessor?
I just have 2 really. When it says basement type, when it says full to part, it's actually a half basement. Because when I go down into my basement, I actually have to duck for the majority of it.
Okay.
And even she would have to duck, and she's
Okay.
shorter than me. And the other part is this land influences. There is no school there anymore. It's just an open, like, soccer field. So
I will review that.
beyond that, it looks correct.
Okay. Laurie, questions of the assessor?
Has there been any inspection recently? Because you noted that your drywall, et cetera, had been changed up and things like that.
There was no inspection, not since the current owner has owned the property.
Are you okay?
Yes, thank you.
No question, thank you.
guess I notice, in comparables, the subject is a 1.5 story, and comparable number 1 and number 2 are single story. So, how does that come into play if the subject is 1.5 story?
So an issue with finding comparable properties in the neighborhood were that 1.5 stories are all significantly larger, as you can tell from comparables 3 to 4. So when trying to figure out the best comparable sales to use, I decided to use 2 that are similar in age and size, but they are 1-story houses, which does make some difference.
So I noticed that the subject property is built in 44, but it has an effective age of 54. So has there been renovations?
Well, based on our phone conversation, the kitchen, bathroom, floor and drywall, there have been some renovations that
So
sound
that,
like they are still.
does that bring up
progress
the
at this point.
effective age to 10 years,
Once-
younger?
Once renovations are completed, we may review that again, to get an overall idea of, once the property is renovated, the effective age.
So is there a well system on the property and septic tank?
Yes, sir. Well, that's fine.
Okay. The floor is yours, sir. Madame, too.
So what I'm really here for is an understanding of why it's worth $362,000. Because when I first initially bought the property, when it was going on market before I bought it, it was assessed at $220,000 for sale. So when I purchased it, that was my understanding, was within that price range would be 200 max to kind of 260,000. And then when we got the assessment for $360,000, it didn't make logical sense to me because I haven't put $100,000 worth of work into the property. So far, I've put in $15,000 to $16,000 into the property in full renovations. And there is still 2 complete rooms that are needing to be either removed from the house or completely reestablished and redone completely, which I would need to pull permits yet for to do. And beyond that, the detached garage is also in question of needing repair or to be torn down. And the majority of the property was farmland, so it is quite covered in farm material and everything else and debris that requires cleanup as well. Beyond that, that's about what I have.
So what do you think the value should be?
I would assume with all the renovations we've done would be $280,000.
Around 280?
Yeah.
And the reasoning?
Because there is still 2 major sections of the house that need to be updated and completely renovated. One of the rooms is 6 by 12 and the other one is 20 by 20. So it is quite a substantial area of the house that would require renovations. I would be open to inspection, so it would be, so you guys could see what you're looking at kind of thing. That way you guys could give a 100% proper assessment value.
I thank you. Ms. Wright, questions of the applicants?
So those 2 rooms that remain to be renovated, when do you plan to complete those renovations?
I was hoping to have them completed approximately by the end of the winter.
And then at that point, the house will be pretty much fully renovated?
Yes, it would be minus the basement.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Davidson?
I have no questions, thank you.
Robert?
Just wanted to run back on when you purchased, or when it was for sale, I think you said 220,000 was the asking price at that time?
Yes, sir.
And when was that?
That was 2016, 2016, around there.
And is that what you paid for it at that time?
I paid one, shoot, what did I pay?
What is, but, okay, so
100,
less than,
190-ish.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there was some reference, I think, about, was this purchased from family?
Yes.
Okay. So 220 is what they had listed it as, or had it listed as in 2017. You paid less because of family, probably, or better. Yeah,
Yeah.
but, okay. Okay, I think I'm good for now, thank you.
If you look at the city's presentation,
Yep.
there's, they have comparables there on Forbes, on your street.
Yeah.
Anything similar to yours, would, I'm just looking at the addresses and that, and would 608 be similar to, well, it's a one-story, so it's not, and the 536, but are you aware of, of these properties? Do you know what they're like in comparison to yours?
Some of them I know what they're like, and some of them are slightly comparable. It just depends more on the homeowner, how long they've been there. As you head further down Forbes Road, it becomes more of a brand new homes, more.
So it goes to the higher up number?
It goes to the higher up. The closer you get to St. Anne's Road, the higher the numbers should go. Beyond that, the side that I'm on would be it's more of the ag side, be the farmers and stuff like that, cause I've got, yeah, it's more of the original side.
So as we go up the street, I'm just looking at comparable number 3 at 8 on Forbes. 834 Forbes. So would that be similar to your house? But not really, because it's probably twice as big.
Twice as big, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's a good ways down.
So it's not a good comparable to yours at all, right?
There's very few older homes left there, most
Okay.
are bulldozed and new builds put on.
Which makes sense why it'd be harder to find information on comparables.
All right, summation, Ms. Wright, anything further?
Yeah, like we've gone over, it is difficult to find older 1.5 stories that are similar in size. So by using similar age 1-story houses with similar size, and then the 2 1.5 stories that are significantly larger, based on a sale price per square foot, it does fall within the range of the comparables, even though it is quite a large price per square foot.
All right, final word? Anything added? Nope. Okay, thank you for your appearance this afternoon, and results very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rhonda.
Last but
Walk
not
up, so
least.
that's the not least, okay. Number 20 is the final one. Are you okay?
Please state your name.
Ron Mo.
Do you swear the evidence you present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
I do.
You okay parking wise and?
Yeah, I got 10 more minutes. So you know I'm not gonna be long.
Okay,
Maybe 15.
okay, we'll make that,
That's okay.
okay, we
We'll
don't want
do
you
what
to
we
get a
need.
ticket.
Yeah, I'd
Okay,
sooner get this right.
okay. Ms. Wright, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. The subject property is roll number 06093453400. Street address is 189 Shady Shores Drive West. This is a 1-story house located in the St. Boniface Industrial Park. The year built and effective year built are 2014. The living area is 2,058 square feet. The house has a walkout basement with no basement finish. There are 2 full bathrooms with 1 shower. There is central air conditioning and 1 fireplace and an attached multi-car garage. The lot size is 10,503 square feet and it is adjacent to a retention pond. I have 4 comparable properties that are all 1-stories in the St. Boniface Industrial Park. The year built and effective year built range from 2011 to 2017. The living area ranges from 1,679 square feet to 1,713 square feet. All properties have walkout basements. Comparable number 2 has basement finish and the other 3 comparables do not. The bathroom count ranges from 2 to 3. All comparable properties have central air conditioning and 1 fireplace and multiple car garages that are attached. The lot size ranges from 8,964 square feet to 10,644 square feet, and all are located adjacent to retention ponds. The sale price of the comparables ranges from $465,000 to $600,000. The time adjusted sale prices range from $484,500 to $613,800, and the time adjusted price per square foot ranges from $287.71 to $365.57. The property owner did attend the 2020 preview program, and at that time the assessor decided there would be no change to the assessment.
Okay. Thank you. Questions?
Yeah, could you tell me, this is a little pocket in the St. Boniface industrial area with nothing else around it. Could you tell me what is the actual complete market value area that this house is in? Because it's not just that little pocket, correct?
I believe we do look at, so when we determine our values with our computer model, we look at that neighborhood, so that St. Boniface Industrial Park is the neighborhood that we look at.
Like just that development of Waterside Estates, it doesn't include more of Transcona?
I don't believe so. I believe, because it is a fairly unique small area that we, and if there are adequate sales of similar properties, then those are the ones that we analyze.
Okay. Next question is, do you know what the actual market area change was between 2018 and 2020 for that pocket?
Not in that specific area. We look at larger market regions within the city.
And so what would you plump this property in for what you just said there? I guess that's what I was trying to get at, is what area is it in for that percentage?
I believe this would be in market region 1. It's within the Transcona area.
Okay.
That would be 3.13% change.
What was that?
3.13% change was for the entire market region 1, which is a fairly large area.
Right, okay. And one more question, just so I can understand. What's the difference between the time adjusted sale price versus the assessed value? Because they don't look to be the same.
So the sale price and the time adjusted sale price?
Like the assessed value that one would get at the beginning of this whole process, based on the actual sale price that a house sold on.
We take the sale prices, the reference period for the 2020 assessment is April 1st, 2016 to April 1st, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those sales, we look at how the market changed and we apply a time adjustment to adjust those prices to the April 1st, 2018 value. So that's what the time adjusted sale price is.
And so how do you get an assessed value then, relative to that number?
We analyze the sales data and we look at the characteristics that your house has, so the size, age, characteristics like number of bathrooms, fireplace. And we have a computer model that generates the assessments.
And are they often the same or not?
For properties that actually sold during that reference period, they would be fairly similar.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Davidson, questions?
I have no questions at this time.
Bob?
No, nothing, thank you. Thank you. Wrong person, okay.
I noticed that the subject property is the largest compared to the comparables.
Yes.
So, what would make the subject more superior, I guess. And the only sale that you have on the street is number 4.
Yes.
Okay. And it is quite smaller, and, yeah, okay. The floor is yours.
Thanks. So I just want to start out by saying I think this pocket of houses is, I mean, it is fairly new. And I know that houses are having a hard time selling in there. And I would expect it's hard to get comparable pricings. Comparable houses, I'm not gonna argue. They're comparable houses. But the actual pricing, I'm not too sure is actual market value that they're selling for. For example, there's a house right behind us, one over, that's been for sale for 2 years. So I don't think it's easy to sell a house in this area. How these people are selling them and how they're getting these prices, I don't know. I know one couple that bought one of these houses was from Toronto, so I'm sure they thought that was a steal, right? So anyway, I just wanted to start by saying I don't think it's easy to fairly assess these houses in this area.
So in your presentation,
Yeah.
are any of these sales, or are they all assessment?
Mine is.
Yes. What do you mean by yours is?
So at the very top, the first table is all the assessment
Yes.
values we've received from our home that we've
Okay,
lived in for 5 years
for
now.
your house.
For my home,
Okay,
yes.
but everything underneath is not sales, is it?
That's
It's
correct.
their
And that's what
assessments.
I'm trying to say, like
Okay.
sales
Okay.
and the assessed values
But you
seem to
didn't
be
bring any
very
sales with you.
different.
You
Well,
didn't bring
I
any.
don't know that there's many more that
Okay.
she's actually presented here,
Okay.
is my point,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And so, in the table above, the BOR is you folks, the Board of Revision, so this is the 3rd time I've been here. And every time before that I've been here, the Board of Revisions has decreased the value of our home compared to what the city had assessed it at. So the original assessment was almost $100,000 more than our purchase price. That was our purchase price, and they still assessed it $100,000 more. And every assessment period, we seem to go back to that, even though you, as the Board of Revisions, come back and say, no, the city's assessment value isn't accurate. And it gets dropped to what you think is fair, and then the city, a very short time later, goes and bumps it up to where they originally wanted it when we first bought the house. And so I'm wondering, we're confused by how this process works. And maybe it's because it's this little pocket of houses that's hard to get an assessed value or a market value by the city. And so the 2020 assessed value by the city is again $585,000. That's a $100,000 increase since when we bought it 5 years ago. And we've done nothing except take a permit out to finish the basement, which is not finished yet. And so $100,000 is pretty steep. The last time we were here for the 2018, we took a 5% increase when, and you're right, these are the assessment values that I've taken off of the website. Some of them were corrected from the original assessed value at the beginning of the year on the map. And so the development around the lake is the comparable houses. And so you can see between 20,000, the 2018 value and the 2020 value, the city's assessed values are only going up by 6%. I know that's not sales, but mine has gone up 11% compared to everybody else's on the block. And they were in the same situation as me because these houses are comparable to their houses, right? So the confusion we have is why did our house go up $60,000 and nobody else's is going up that much? When all of these are the same kind of comparable house sales. And number 74 Seaside Drive, that is also the same floor plan, also built by Discovery, and it's sitting at 554, which to me would be more reasonable for our house as well. So that's all I've got.
So you're seeking 554, is that correct?
No more than that.
Okay,
Because we already took a 5% increase last assessment and most people took 0. Right?
thank you. Ms. Wright, questions?
Yeah, I just have a question. I took a look at the titles for the property when I was reviewing it, and it looks like there are 2 different mortgages on the same day for September 23rd, 2014. So I'm just wondering, just some information on those.
Oh, that's an excellent question. So we do have 2 mortgages, or at that time we did. One was a regular mortgage like most people have where you pay the bank and you pay the bank interest. The other chunk of the mortgage was a self-directed RRSP where we own that mortgage. The principal gets paid back to our RRSPs and the percentage that we pay for the mortgage rate goes into our RRSPs. So we own that. Most banks don't even know about that. So that's what that was. So we are looking at the home as an investment in many ways. But wouldn't say it's gone up 100,000.
Laurie?
I have no questions, thank you.
Bob?
The question, your last assessment in 2018, you say, your document here is 525,000.
Yeah,
And that's what it was reduced to by the board?
correct.
And
The city came out with 559,
yeah,
and then when I went through this process, the Board of Revisions dropped it to 525.
and how did you feel about that in terms of, was that an appropriate value
Well,
or more appropriate obviously?
the range of those houses that you see listed below,
Yeah,
they went up 2% and some went down -2%. That was the range. And so the overall around the lake went up average 0% and we took a 5% increase. So it was what it was. I couldn't do much about it at that point, right? So we did take the 5% increase and they want us to take another 11% this year.
okay.
So I would be happy with that increase between 0 and 5% somewhere, right? To be in line
Right.
with what increases have happened.
Right,
Again, taking into account that I don't think it's easy to do a market value in that area.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob. I just noticed that you back onto the retention pond, so
We
the
do.
odd numbers are on the retention pond, okay? So 163 would probably be on the retention pond? Yes.
Sorry.
You're on the retention pond, right?
That's right. So all of the houses listed here.
With the odd numbers would be on the retention pond.
No.
No?
So the uneven numbers on
The
Shady
odd
Shore
number.
Drives,
Yep.
that's on the retention pond.
Yes.
The even
Okay.
numbers on Seashore Drive, which is the other side of the lake.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Now, in just to recap, and so it looks like yours is 11%, okay, increase.
Between
Okay.
2018
Yeah,
and 20.
right, that's what I'm. So all the rest of them are anywhere from like 4 to 5 to 6%. And that's what you're basically saying,
Right.
that 11 is too high, 5 is reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay,
Either that or this process has no value. Right?
Questionable. All right.
Okay.
Any summation, either party? We don't want you to get a ticket. Okay.
I think we're okay.
Okay, you okay?
I'm good. Yep,
Okay.
thanks for your time.
So thank you for coming this
Yeah.
afternoon, and results soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully I won't see you in 3 years.
Thank you. We are going to take a little break now, okay? And we'll just do some house cleaning after. Call the meeting back to order. So, we'll deal with number 10 on our docket, whenever you're ready, Candace.
Okay, the subject property is roll number 0808-122-1070. Street address is 56 Vivian Avenue, a two-story house located in the Glenwood neighborhood. The 2020 assessment is $388,000, which is $270.19 per square foot.
Any questions, panel members? Pass.
Not for me.
Okay. We'll go to number 13.
The subject property is roll number 0608-1164-000. Street address is 135 Braemar Avenue. It's a 1.5-story house built in 1941 in the Norwood East neighborhood. The 2020 assessment is $347,000, which is $225.47 per square foot.
Thank you. Panel members, any questions?
No.
Okay, number 14.
Roll number 0609071500. Street address is 80 Govan Street. This is a 1-story house built in 1944, located in the Norwood West neighborhood. The 2020 assessment is $380,000, which is $278.18 per square foot.
Thank you. Panel members, any questions?
Not for me.
No.
Okay, number 15.
The subject is roll number 0609056700. The street address is 134 Monk Avenue. This is a 2-story house built in 1912 in Norwood West. The 2020 assessment is $302,000, which is $170.62 per square foot.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
No.
Okay. Number 16.
Subject property is roll number 0800-7687500. Street address is 66 McNulty Crescent. This is a 1-story house built in 1983, located in the Minnetonka neighborhood. I did speak to the owner of this property a couple times on August 27th and September 10th. His concern wasn't actually with the assessed value, it was a discrepancy in the information we have on file, that there may only be full basement under part of the house. We weren't able to schedule an inspection yet as the homeowner is out of town, but we will schedule an inspection when he is available and correct our records at that time.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions?
No.
Panel members? No? Number 17.
Roll number 0800-701-9800. Street address is 3322 St. Mary's Road. This is a 2-story house located in 1950 in the St. Paul Perimeter South neighborhood. The 2020 assessment is $359,000, and the assessment per square foot is $180.67.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Ms. Wright, I think that concludes our business here.
Thank you.
So I thank you very kindly for your presentations.